Start. Oh. And look at this duck. Look at this duck. Look at it.
Look at this duck. I'm Spen.
Milo.
And we're a couple of good color. We're not the couple of good color.
50%, roughly.
We are 50% of good color. And we're here for the EVERYMINDAWORLD song breakdown.
Welcome.
Let's get into it.
We wanted a song on the record that was experimental. We wanted to have some surreal vocals.
We wanted to show a stream of consciousness that's kind of divorced from time. EVERYMINDAWORLD is, it's kind of like Sonder, when people's experiences around you are just as vivid and real as your own.
And the fact is it's not an organized song. There is no traditional structure. There's pattern to it, but the pattern isn't even, it almost doesn't help it feel organized. And that was really on purpose, because again, we're trying to play with what it's like to be in your own head. And it just is literally stream of consciousness. And so that's what we did.
It was June 26th, 2021 when Nicole made a sequence on the mini log.
Yeah, the Korg mini log.
The Korg mini log. She made the sequence, the whole digga 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 digga.
What was funny is it was a total accident. I was with her and she was just playing on the keyboard, and she was like, she just clicked on the sequencer, pounded in a few notes and pressed play, and that exact sequence was what was playing. So she didn't really mean to write it, and it stuck around for a while. Shortly after she wrote it, I wrote a bass line, just a very simple ascending bass line that I found like a really good match for that sequence, and we had that for a while.
We were sitting with it for months.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was going to be a song or not, but I loved how it sounded, and I think that it worked really well for what we were trying to do here.
It did so much so to a point where we already knew we wanted to make something experimental, surreal, and I had this journal that I kept throughout the whole year of 2021 that was a blackout journal. Essentially, I had this secondhand book that I bought, and I would take a page a day, and I would scratch out the words I didn't want and box in the words I did, and I made it a habit of doing a daily blackout poem every day, and I kept it going pretty consistently to the point where by the end of 2021 I had a book full of just poems of thoughts that I had gathered. So the music was already in part there. Of course, Nicole had made the sequence, Milo had made the bass line, and then I just threw down a bunch of pieces of my poems. Like, it's kind of like a year's worth of puzzle pieces, and I started to piece them together into one comprehensive document.
When we were writing, we took a lot of what Spencer had written in his blackout journals and some of what I had written in my own creative journals, and a couple things from what Nicole had written in some of her creative journals. So there's the lyrics of this song are collaborative and come from different people at various different times. And not every thought is connected, and they shouldn't be. But there's a lot of meaning to pull from the many thoughts. Do you speak Spanish?
Do I speak Spanish?
Do you speak Spanish?
I do, and I think that's the only reason that I felt justified in saying a couple Spanish lines. At the very start of the song, I say one phrase in Spanish that's cada cabeza un mundo, and at the very end of the song, I say another phrase which is hay más tiempo que vida. That just means that every mind is a world, and there's more time than life. This first phrase was a phrase I heard pretty often while I was living in Mexico, and I was just fascinated with how casual of a phrase it was that people used, but how much it meant to me to just recognize that everybody has a completely different set of experiences and ways of extracting meaning from their experience and their world. Yeah, like everybody's worldview is completely different based on their experience, so I just thought that was really significant to me. And then there's more time than life. It just seemed like a very appropriate thing to say to finish the song and bookend that first sentence.
If you haven't noticed, the record is more or less about time. So
it's about time.
It's about damn time.
Yeah, so the first half of the song, all the lyrics come from my blackout journal, right up until here.
Nicole wrote that line.
And this line's kind of from Nicole as well. One time we killed a mouse and we're not proud of that moment.
Yeah, it was a traumatizing moment. It really did happen.
True story. It hurt.
It did. It was rough. There was a mouse in this very house for a while. And it was really elusive. It was good.
A sneaky mouse.
And then finally, yeah, had to kill it.
Devastating.
So yeah, it's a moment.
A
surprising amount of emotion it went into that moment.
But all these things in parentheses, there's a bunch of small lines that are kind of heard in the background that get lost in the mix a little bit.
That was intentional.
We went over all the lyrics in the living room here at the Good House and had most of the song to a point where we were like, yeah, we like this. This is getting pretty close to a spot where it's ready, but we still needed a beat.
We did want drums, and I in particular wanted drums to be really hard-hitting. I wanted them to be really compressed. I wanted them to be really overdriven, maybe a little bit in your face. We decided on a spot in which they should go, and the drums come in really late, kind of strangely late in the song. And it's kind of surprising, and that's on purpose. But Alec really wanted to make drums a beat that didn't feel like they were in 4/4 time, but still wanted to be relatively simple. And he programmed those drums. And it wasn't until after he had programmed them and we kind of finished the song that he was like, oh, maybe I should learn how to play this beat on our actual kit, because we decided that we wanted this song to, when we play it live, we wanted to play it live on a drum kit. And he spent quite a bit of time getting
journey.
it right.
Some of the main songs that we had as inspiration for creating this track were NIV by Lamb Chop.
Yeah, that one's a really good example because it just feels very stream of consciousness, and Lamb Chop is constantly using interesting and surreal vocal production techniques that we used as a reference for this track.
And then we also thought of 715 Creeks by Bon Iver, of course. Yeah. Just the vocoder, the auto-tune, the layers of vocals.
Both great songs. We love them. Would we call this song folktronica? I don't even know. It's not really a dream pop song. I don't know.
We've had a hard time.
It's an interesting one for us to categorize, and we've tried to submit it to some playlists, and it doesn't really have a home. That's okay. We know there's a lot of people who like it, at least a few of you out there.
Your mind can be a home for it.
Put it on a playlist.
All right, shall we get into the song?
Yeah, let's get into the song.
Let's get into the song.
This is a song.
This really is.
Ready for the song? What's fun is that this is a very simple song. It doesn't have that much going on. There is a synthesizer. There is a synthesizer. There is a synthesizer, and there are vocals.
That's the whole song.
Yeah.
That's the entire song.
It's pretty simple.
No, just kidding. Because then this comes in. It's so pretty.
I love the way that sequence and that bass line play together. Very simple.
It works.
Has an emotional response in my body.
Something you'll notice is throughout the song, there's different changes in the filter on the main sequence, so you'll hear it get a little more aggressive at parts.
Just that high pass filter opening up, closing back down. To really hear the sequence in its full blast, you kind of need okay speakers or headphones or at a decent volume. If you put the song in the background, the sequence goes further into the background, which is normal.
It's normal.
It's okay.
It happens.
It's
It
okay.
happens. The vocals have two different tracks. First of all, the vocals are on an auto-tune, so that sounds like this.
The only problem with my truth is whether or not I know it.
It's kind of sad. We added the vocoder to add more depth.
It's all about texture.
The only problem with my truth is whether or not I know it.
That's the texture we want.
It's fiction later with meaning.
Benton, the very smart human being who we appreciate, deemed us the texture lords.
That was a huge compliment.
It was.
And Benton was really helpful in making this track what it is. Because early on, like the first thing you hear in the song is actually this, the first thing I say in Spanish. He did a great job at taking all of these small pieces of audio and clipping them and putting them where they need to go.
My mind could be difficult to visit.
My mind was just blocked and I was terrified to turn on. Some people have more fun than others. That's something my maternal grandpa always said. I can't believe I remember you.
I remember you. I remember you. I remember you. I remember you. Remember you. I remember you. Might I add my apologies?
It's so cool.
Yeah, he nailed it.
It's so good. Wasn't by choice.
My mouth. My heart. Your leg. Your leg.
Miles wrote this line. There's a line that says, "By living the dream of my sleepwalking."
It's my favorite line in the song. It actually came from a line Spencer wrote, but I reworked it. There's this guy at work that every time you ask him how he's doing, he just says, "Oh, living the dream." At one point, I just had to ask, like, you just sleepwalking all the time?
By living the dream, am I sleepwalking?
By living the dream, am I
Sleepwalking.
wanted to be known, to be haunted.
We recorded the vocals with two microphones.
We did.
So-
We had a mic here and a mic here.
Two microphones. One of them was going straight into the interface, raw vocal that we eventually did put an auto-tune on for texture. And then the other one was going into our Roland Juno DS keyboard.
And all I wanna do is make my way through to the end of the consequences.
You can hear Spencer clacking on the
Yeah,
keyboard.
the keys are
You
kind of
can-
coming through
you
a
can kinda
little
hear
bit.
it.
And all I wanna do is make my way through to the end of the consequences. I used to draw maces at church.
This was a challenging song for me to sing. It took me a while to figure out how to sing it and play it at the same time. And also just the really broad array of melodies that I wrote for this song, taking one melody after another, one thought after another, and recognizing that they can all exist at the same time.
Take a mold of my teeth with concrete and hang it on your Christmas tree. I look down at my hands and close my eyes, and my periphery is centralized.
I love what Benton did there with the
Yeah,
centralized.
that was really cool.
Where did he do that?
The drums should come in right there.
My heart, your leg.
It was just Alec doing this, right? The first thing that Benton did that we loved was he pulled this out of the reverb.
It's pretty jarring and kind of unsettling, and I just love it.
And Benton also did this little stutter, this little drum stutter here. So the drum texture starts to lead the drums in. Yeah, he did parts where he'd make the drums drop. The end of the song is just me screaming. This is really fun to play live because by the end of the song I'm just...
House while I live in my head.
We just keep making music because we love this.
We even make these videos. And
And
if
we
you're
love each
watching
other.
this, like, wow,
You're one of so very few people
you found yourself in a very deep part of the internet.
so deep in the internet that you're seeing us having this conversation.
If you're watching this, you probably are in northern Utah, and you should come see this live.
And if you're
We
wondering,
have.
we'd love to see you at a live show.
Yeah, we love you.
We love each other,
We do love each other. We love the other members of Good Color.
who are not present with us.
Yes.
Thank you.
Your mind is a world.
Their mind is a world. Anyway, if you liked this video, feel free to like and subscribe.
Hit the bell as well.
I think I can put a bell in here. We'll see if I can figure that out.
Come say hi.
See you next time.